Hello and welcome back everyone to my channel. So this is the fourth and the last part of the topic, which is GS paper 1 syllabus of mains. So we are going to cover society as it is the last topic. So that's why we are going to cover this in the fourth part, which is the last part. After this we will start with GS paper 2. So we have salient features of Indian society basically in it. So we will start with post-independence of India. So nation buildings, partition and its aftermath. So basically what kind of partition was done and what happened after it. Aftermath means what happened after it. Then how were the princely states integrated, integration of it, linguistic regionalism in India. So basically in this topic here that people are like free to speak any language in any of the region. For example, if the person is living in let's say West Bengal, so the person is free to speak Bengali. Then reorganization of states, how were the states reorganized, issue of official language. So as we all know, Hindi is our official language and English is chosen to be associate language of our country of India. So English is the associate language of India. For example, if someone lives in Tamil Nadu and that person would be speaking Tamil and he or she might do not know how to speak Hindi. So to communicate with them, there is a associate language which is English. So we will be able to communicate with them very easily by English. Then tribal consolidation as well as regional aspirations. Then American War of Independence. So foundation of American colonies, the independence of USA, the American Revolutionary War. What was the effect? What was the impact of American Revolution? US Civil War. What was the effect of Civil War on USA? Global impact of US Civil War. And what was the effect of such wars on India? World War First. Causes of it. Scope and course of the war. Russian Revolution. Major events in pre-revolution Russia. So causes, course of revolution, what were the consequences of it, about aftermath of the war and post-Lenin Russia. Then era of one-party dominance in polity, emergence of opposition parties, emergency crisis of democratic order, rise of regional parties, coalition era, role of women and women's organization. So women's organization in Indian history, what all things were done for it. Then types of women's organizations, there are many types of it. Then level of penetration and 19th century social reform movements and early women's organizations. Agrarian struggles and revolt. Then participation in freedom struggle. So who all participated in the freedom of the struggle of freedom. World War II, fascist aggression and response of Western democracies, outbreak of the war, theaters of the war, US entry into the war, global nature of it, the Holocaust, then resistance movement and after effects of the war, aftermath of the war basically. So if you want to know more about World War II, you can check the video out on my channel of World War II, because this is very important and very interesting topic. That's why I am suggesting you to check that video out on my channel. You will find it very interesting. Concept, types and social impact of political philosophies. So communism, capitalism and socialism. So these 3 points you have to remember, and these 3 points are these 3 topics are very important. So do check it out. Social empowerment, which are the socially disadvantaged groups, meaning and concept of social empowerment, dimensions of social empowerment, why do we need it, government initiatives to aid to it, then empowerment in reality and India's experience. Poverty and developmental issues. So concept of development and poverty, types of poverty because there are many kinds of it, then measurement of it and poverty line, causes of it, how it is caused, what all are the causes basically, then poverty as a social problem, very important, then socio-economic spread of poverty, what were the consequences of poverty, so inequality and continuation of vicious cycle. So basically, for example, if you are poor, so your children will be poor, your grandson or granddaughter will be poor, and so on. Means you can't get out of that poverty. So here it is written that continuation of vicious cycle. So poverty is a vicious cycle basically. Now, who is the worst? Like who is most affected by poverty? एंड वर्स्ट अफेक्टेड बाय पॉवर्टी मीन्स दैट बुरी तरीके से जिससे सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुआ है पॉवर्टी से. देन द प्रॉब्लम्स विच आर राइजिंग इन अर्बन पॉवर्टी alleviations initiatives, then policy shifts from trickle down economics to inclusive or pro poor development to reduce poverty, relation between poverty reduction and development, poverty inequality development nexus, population and associated issues. So basic demography of India, population trends in India and their implications, then what all are the causes and what all are the impact, basically effect of overpopulation, challenges of population explosion, changing age structure of Indian population, demographic dividend, boon or bane for India, population aging in India and India's population policy and initiatives, urbanization, their problem and their remedies. So basically urbanization के क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम है एंड उसे लाइक एंड देयर रेमेडीज मीन्स उसे कैसे हम लोग कम कर सकते हैं. So urbanization trends in India and their implications, demographic and social dimensions, factors of driving urbanization, state of service delivery and challenges posed by urbanization, problems of urban areas and social consequences of urbanization. Now, what is the effect? What is the impact of urbanization in rural areas? Then urban planning and role of urban local bodies, which is also known as ULBS. Then reforms required and government initiatives taken so far. Okay, then problems of slums. So slum is basically the area where poor people live and that particular area does not have the like we can say the facilities which are required to a person. Women's organization with examples, then problem faced by women's organizations. So it is a larger vocal role possible and ways to achieve the same, and role of SHGs, microfinance institution. Then regionalism, okay, very important. So the concept of region and regionalism, different forms of it, regionalism in India, causes of it, concept of sons and soil, consequences of regionalism, federalism and regionalism, role of regional parties, measures to contain regionalism in the international sphere. Then communalism, so its characters, communalism in India in the past, communalism in contemporary India and causes of it, consequences of it, measures to control and eradicate it, and secularism as an antidote to it. Then decolonization and withdrawal of national boundaries. So Europe after World War II, because the map and everything was changed after World War II in Europe, like almost like most of the things were changed. Cold War, rise of Asia and Africa, and developments in West Asia and North Africa, spread of communism, Korean War, Vietnam War, Cuban crisis, and collapse of Soviet Union. Effects of globalization on Indian society. So understanding globalization, its different dimensions also very important. Now globalization and culture. So homogenization versus globalization. So globalization is a term when we combine globalization plus local. So global plus local is equal to globalization. Then factors which are driving globalization, globalization and India. Impact of globalization on India: socio-cultural, economic, on women, agrarian sector, etc. Now, does globalization cause poverty? Very important. Okay. Now, Indian society. So, the salient features of Indian society: diversity of India too. Features of Indian society and diversity. So, its types: caste, linguistic, social and religious, race, tribe, and ethnicity, culture. Then challenges posed by diversity: unity, pluralism, unity in diversity, inequality and exclusion, family system, and examples of the above. Rise of capitalism, colonialism, and imperialism. So, colonialism, the age of imperialism from 1870 till 1914. Then imperialism in Asia. Then analysis of colonialism. Social, in this, the popular movements. Again, there were a lot of movements. So about them. Communalism. So here in this, the Indian women since independence, issues of women and evolution of women movement. Then Nihilism. So in this, post independence policy of science and technology, India's policy in the field of science and technology. Now effect, basically the impact of economic reforms on the science and technology in India. And after the war, end of it, and peace treaties, because there were some treaties which were signed by the countries. Then consequences of the war, League of Nations, and world between the two wars. So Europe after the war, fascism and Nazism, the Great Depression, also the emergence of Soviet Union and a nationalist movement in Asia and Africa, as well as US as a strong power, because it was a strong power and was turned into a very strong imperialist also. So yeah, this was it in GS-1 in society. So till now we have covered everything in GS paper 1. We covered history and art and culture in part 1, modern history in the second part, geography in the third, and today in the fourth part we covered society. Alright, so we will meet again. Till then, take care and bye bye, and I would suggest you to stay updated. And if not subscribed to my channel yet, then do subscribe it. Bye bye.